be here tonight for this celebration. It's really a wonderful testament to your friendship with us, with our kids, that you're here. In fact, many of you have come from very faraway places, including our dear friends Max and Suzanne Garota from Nice, France, Julie from London, Leah from San Francisco, Courtney and Bruce and Bonnie from Colorado, the Wanamakers from Georgia, Melissa from Texas. I got to meet all these people. And Christine from Chicago. And if I missed any other places farther away than Delaware or DC, let me know later. So on occasions like this, we think it's important to consider a few other major events that share this date in history. So, for my parents' generation, Don and Sue Moore, standing over there in the window. On this date in 1947, Harry Truman delivered the first presidential address ever televised from the White House. Now, talking about our generation, that's the four of us standing here. On this date in 1962, the Beatles released their very first single, Love Me Do, in the UK. Now, for Liz and Mac's generation, and this is my personal favorite and most auspicious event, on this date in 1989, the Dalai Lama won the Nobel Peace Prize. Wow. For the most recent generation, maybe Ella and Hank's generation. Good job, Ella. On this date in 2011, Sarah Palin announced she would not run for
Yes.
That was your favorite. And last but not least, on this date, in 2013, which happens to be today, you all heard the finest wedding speech of your entire life. So, Becky or Pat, which one of you is going to give that speech? So ever since Liz was a little girl, we've been telling her that she really should not get married until she finished her education and hopefully had a decent job. Moreover, we said she ought to live with the guy that she thinks she'd eventually like to marry for a period of time long enough that she could really get to know him. In short, she should probably wait to marry till she was about 30 years old. Well, Liz first met Mac in December 2005, almost 8 years ago. 8 long years ago. And she was clearly rather smitten with him soon thereafter, as she described well in a piece that some of you read in the New York Times a couple of years ago. Chris and I also met Mac, not long after Liz did, and we also realized in short order that not only was Mac a great guy, witty, intelligent, most importantly kind and hardworking, but also that Liz and Mac clearly had a very special relationship and that they were obviously deeply in love and generally just very happy to be around each other. This was completely evident to anybody who was with them, all of us. So for the next 7 years, we very patiently watched their relationship grow and flourish while we got older and older. And as they attended wedding after wedding, always somebody else's wedding. And quite honestly, we wondered if perhaps we had been too stern in our admonitions about not getting married until she was at least 30. Well, Liz finally turned 30 this past May. So I'm very pleased that we can now quote William Shakespeare in saying, "All's well that ends well." So please join us in congratulating Liz and Matt for their excellent decision to travel out, and we wish them continuing great happiness, love, and friendship throughout their long lives together.
Here.
Thank you to Mom and Dad for everything today, and the Casey's for last night. It was so much fun, and the best part is I get to keep partying with you guys now. And also to all of you guys for being here. It's so cool to see some people who have been coming up here with our family for decades, and some it's your first time up here, so welcome. I hope you have been seduced by the charms of Lake George and will continue to visit. It's a really special place for me up here in upstate New York, largely because of my sister Liz. We would spend a good chunk of our summers growing up on Lake Sacandaga, which is pretty close to here. And if you put two siblings 7 years apart in a small house with no internet, no TV, and almost no other people, or within a 15-mile radius or so, I think it really says a lot that we're able to just have such a great time together. Every time we're there or anywhere. And I remember when you went to college, and me and Mom and Dad would be driving up in the car about to pick you up from the train station to spend a weekend at Sacandaga. I remember sitting in the car and always thinking that there's just nothing better than getting to spend a weekend with you, and just, I can't even begin to explain in a speech this short how incredible of a sister you've been to me, and are to me, and will always be to me. And whether we're at Thanksgiving, stuffing our faces with Aunt Beth's pies, we'll eat one today, it's going to be awesome, I agree today, or with Adriana at a Kathleen Edwards concert, or stuck in a camp in the middle of nowhere together for a weekend. We always just have the best time, and I love you so much. And Sacandaga and upstate New York is also a special place for me because it's where I got to really know and love Mac. Some of you were at the rehearsal dinner last night, and you heard his tale of, I had met him a couple of times, but the first time I really got to know him was when he agreed to come up for a weekend to Sacandaga with my family and help my sister chaperone me and a pack of my 15-year-old friends to a Dave Matthews concert. I should have known then that he had full intention to marry my sister, because I have no idea why he would have agreed to do that. And we, at camp, we have all of the guests who have been there over the years, every time they come up, sign an entry for the guest book. And I was going through those entries this summer, just kind of out of curiosity, and I stumbled across a couple of maps that I really enjoyed. So the first one is actually from that weekend. June 16th, 2006, Mac Casey. DMV, a delicious bass, and a swim in the lake. Who could ask for anything more? Spelled M-O-O-R-E. Thanks! And then a couple summers later, always a lovely time. Thank you for sharing your beautiful camp with me, and I look forward to being back soon. Matt. And then one of the more recent ones, the last one.
Is this embarrassing? Most doesn't point out the spelling mistakes.
This week, the SCOTUS upheld PPACA, and MNL celebrating getting Eid with my future ILs. What a victory for acronyms and capital letters. Always a wonderful time at the GSR. Love, Matt. And I love all of those entries because they just really show and illustrate Matt's love for life and love for people and love, like, he just loves for everyone to be having a great time. And every time somebody's with him, they are having a great time. And I'm just so happy that Liz and Mac found each other so that they continue to have the best time ever and for everybody around them to have the best time ever and to keep filling our Sackadaga guest book with amazing memories. So I love you guys so much and congratulations! Yay!